Good afternoon, everyone. So today we are going to discuss another topic. And first, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Amalia Judith Chos, and we are now in Group 10, and I am the first reporter of our group. So today we are going to discuss about contextualization and indigenization of curriculum. But first, I would like to present to you our learning objectives. So at the end of the lesson, you are able to first identify the legal basis of contextualization. Second, explain contextualization, localization, and indigenization. And the third, cite some examples and importance of curriculum contextualization. So, what is contextualization? Contextualization is a process of placing an idea, event, or information with its surrounding circumstances to fully understand its meaning. So it involves weaving together factors like time, place, culture, and situation to provide more complete pictures and aid comprehension. Let's say, for example, a historical events, meaning it's better understood when contextualized by the social and political climate of its time. So, pag maingon tag contextualization, so it is a related to the curriculum. Since sa atong gisgutan diri is curriculum, so himo na to nga kanang i-contextualize nato ang usa ka sitwasyon. So, because contextualization means a particular settings or a situation or area of application. So, that is contextualization. Okay, so next. So, in contextualization of curriculum, so naa siya kanang legal basis nga ginasunod and Republic Act. So, isa na dira ang Republic Act 10533 or Act of 2013. So, unsa man ni siya nga Republic Act? So, Republic Act 10533 or the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013. It is a Philippine law that strengthens the basic education system by enhancing the curriculum and increasing the number of years for basic education to 13 years, which includes kindergarten and 12 years of primary and secondary education. So, the law also known as the K-12 law, which aims to provide globally competitive education that better prepares students for employment or higher education. So, muna siya ang legal basis of contextualization. So, since ang Republic Act 10533 or Act of 2013, mo man siya ginatawag na itong Enhanced Basic Education. So, unsa man ang kanang ginatawag na itong Basic Education? Kung mayroon tag Basic Education class, so, Basic Education, it is the fundamental level of schooling that provides core knowledge and skills. So, as we can see, ang Basic Education is ginatudluan ta how to read, how to write, and of course, how to do arithmetic. So, that is a Basic Education. Okay, so, muna siya ang legal basis na siya yung Republic Act and muna siya ang Republic Act 10533 or Act of 2013. So, Section 10.2 D and H, Implementing Rules and Regulations for Republic Act 10533. So, ang first ani is ang Section 10.2 D states that the curriculum shall be contextualized and global. So, ang purpose aning Section 10.2 D nga muna siya ang rules and regulations nga ginakuan sa curriculum nga i-contextualize jud and ang contextualization sa curriculum is global siya, globally kay ga-aim baya ang education nga globally competitive ang mga estudyante. So that is section 10.2 and mo proceed ta sa section 10.2H. So ga-state ni siya muna siya ang balaod or regulations nga states that the curriculum shall be flexible enough to enable and allow schools to localize, indigenize, and enhance in same based on their respective educational and social context. So, ang kaning section 10.2H nga nag-state ni siya nga ang curriculum need siya to be flexible enough to enable and allow schools to localize. So, dapat jud gina-localize with ang kining kaninga section or ang curriculum dapat jud siya ma-align jud siya kay dili ba ita parehas og kanang location no napay uban nga kanang mga indigent nga mga city or mga lugar. So need jud nila ang kanang education nga enhance jud ang rules and regulations sa kaninga balaod ang Republic Act 10533.
So next, we have culture-based education. So if we are going to say culture-based education, from the word culture, so students learn in a child-friendly, gender-sensitive, safe, and motivating environment. So isa sa mga kanang rules or isa sa mga kanang gina-aim sa mga students nga maka-learn jud sila, and isa pa pud ma-contextualize and ma-localize ang education. So because nagpinahanglan ng mga estudyante og kanabang friendly nga child friendly og gender sensitive nga eskwelahan and stay and safe also, and maka-motivate pod ang ilang environment. So that's why need nato nga kanang i-culturize or i-contextualize ang basic education. So mo na siya ang gina-aim sa mga students, and then gender sensitive pod siya then kay lahi-lahi tag mga status no na ay mga kanang bisexual, na mga mga straight jud na women or men, or kanang babae lalaki, and then lahi ta og mga gender. So therefore sensitive gid siya, and kinahanglan jud nga ang culture no kinabase gid siya sa kanang education nga ginatagaan siya og kanang pagtagad. And then next, so teachers facilitate learning, constantly nurture every learner. So ang teacher gid ang mo-facilitate, kay facilitator man ang teacher of learning, and then gina-nurture gid niya ang mga kanang every learner, kay para mas masabtan pa gid sa mga estudyante kung unsa gid ang gusto ipaabot sa usa ka teacher. So need nato no to contextualize para mas masabtan gid sa mga estudyante kung unsa gid ang curriculum, kay wag na siya ang pinaka the best nato nga buhaton as a future teacher someday nga mo facilitate gid ta og learning sa atong mga students. Let's conclude about my report. So I hope na naaming masabtan, and now to deepen your understanding, so akong ihatag ang time to the next reporter. That's all. Thank you for listening.
Good day, everyone. Before I continue our report, I would like to introduce myself first. I am Kisha Ann A. Tampos, and my report thing is a continuation of Miss Amalia Dicho's report. Now, let's start. So here is the processes. First, we have learning environment. When we say learning environment, this is the setting where learning happens, which should be safe, inclusive, and conducive for all learners. So pag sinabi natin learning environment, ito yung school na pinapasukan natin. So next, we have teaching learning strategy. So ito naman is the methods and approaches teachers use to help students understand lessons effectively. Next, we have learning resources. Ito naman yung mga gamit na ginagamit ng teacher. Like for example, books, visuals, digital tools like laptop, like TV, and like visuals like mga IMs na ginagamit ni teacher para masuportahan ang pagtuturo at pagkatuto ng mga estudyante. Next, we have classroom assessments. Ito naman yung tools and strategy na ginagamit ni teacher para i-evaluate ang performance ng estudyante at ang learning progress. Okay, dito naman tayo sa degrees of contextualization. So, this section introduces two important concepts, which is localization and indigenization. So, this represents the degrees or levels of adapting the curriculum to fit the learner's real-life context and culture. Okay, now let's go here in curriculum localization. Means adapting lessons and materials in the curriculum to match the local context of the students. So this helps make learning more relevant, relatable, and meaningful to them. Let's move here in what is localization. So pag sinabi natin localization is defined as the process of relating learning content specified in the curriculum to local information and materials from the learner's community. So, in simpler terms, it means using examples, materials, and lessons that connect to the students' own surroundings, culture, and experiences. So, I have a question here. Why do we need to localize the curriculum? Okay, so localization makes learning, like first one, more meaningful. Like students can easily understand lessons when connected to their everyday life. Okay, next one is culturally relevant. So it promotes appreciation of local culture, traditions, and values. Next one, we have engaging. So learners become more interested and motivated. Next is inclusive. So it respects differences among communities and learners. So biskang napaka diferensya dara ma-include gihapon ka. It's because naa diri na part diri si inclusive. Okay, next we have elements of localization. So localization involves connecting. So first we have learning content, nakakonect siya sa local information. Next, kay si learning content po, nakakonect po siya ka local materials. So ang meaning ani, si teachers use real life examples, stories, and resources from the community, such as local history, industries, landmarks, and people. So, the next one is kani mga pictures. So, naman mo nakita dira tulo ka picture, no? So, first, ang cultural diversity. So, kani siya, nag-integrate siya local costumes, tradition, o beliefs into lesson. Di ba nakita ninyo sa picture nga different silang mga, I think different silang mga lahi. Di ba? Dito parihag mga tradition, mga beliefs. So, muna siya ang cultural diversity. Okay, next we have geography. So, pag mingon tag geography, considering the local environment, landscape, and resources in teaching. Di ba, ginagamit ni ang geography sa aral pa na subject. Okay, next we have people. So, recognizing local heroes like Jose Rizal, community leaders, and ordinary citizens who shape local identity. So, mo lang to ako ang report, no? And it would be continued by Miss Arlene Nuhapa. So, thank you very much for listening.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am the third reporter and I will be presenting the continuation of our topic today. So, my topic is localization and contextualization. So, in order for you to localize and contextualize the curriculum, you have to think of where you are so that you can make the curriculum to you. So, Yusek Dina Ocampo. This statement kay nag-emphasize siya sa importance of connecting learning to the learner's real-life environment. So, culture and experience, education become more meaningful and effective when the lesson. So, example and activities reflect the local content, the community, tradition, resources, and relates of the student. So localization means ang localization kay meaning is adapting the curriculum to fit the local settings. For example is in science, you might use local plants or natural resource as the example. In math, you can use local market or community data in problem solving. So ang contextualization goes a step further. Meaning is relating lessons to the learner. So, personal experience na ni siya. So, values and social condition. So they can better understand and apply what they learn. So, in short, no, kay ana si Yosek Dina Ocampo sa iyang quote is remind teacher that education should start where the student are their place. So, culture and experience, so that learning become meaningful, applicable, and transformative. So next is why to localize and contextualize. So to localize or contextualize curriculum is based on needs and relevance for the learners, where there is flexibility and creativity in the lesson. So, localize and contextualization are done so that the learning become meaningful, relevant, and connected siya sa student to real life experience. So, when lessons are based on local needs, culture, and environment, ang student can better understand and ma-apply niya on what they learn. So, the localized or contextualized curriculum kani siya. First is address local needs. So, kani siya is it consider the specific issue, culture, tradition, and environment of community where the learners live. Second is ensure relevance. So, lessons are connected to learners' daily lives, making education practical and relatable. Third, encourage flexibility and creativity. Teacher can design learning materials and activity that fit their local context using real example, local stories, and family situations. So, ang importance ani kay improve engagement, student are more interested. Ang estudyante is more nga na interest siya when the lesson reflect their world. Second kay promote understanding. So they gaps concept faster kay because ang example is familiar na sa ilaha. Third is develop problem solving skills. So ang learners can apply classroom lesson to real community problems. So fourth kay preserve culture. So it helps maintain local identity that pride while learner academic concepts. So in short or we localize and contextualize the curriculum to make education relevant, meaningful, and effective by connecting what students learn to who they are, where they are, and what they experience in their own communities. That's all. Thank you.
So, good day everyone. I am the third reporter and now I will introduce myself. I am Jasmine Legublo. I will discuss the REACT strategy. Number 1 is relating. Relating, this involves connecting new concept to learners' existing life experience, everyday events, or familiar situation. It helps students see the relevance of the material by linking it to what they already know, much like how young children naturally learn through observation of their surroundings. For example, relating a math lesson to budgeting daily expenses makes abstract ideas concrete. So relating is kuan ngono siya ang kanang na-involve sa connecting sa new concept sa learners. Ga-exist pud ni sila og kanang life experiences sa permi nga event or familiar situation. Nakatabang po ni sa student nga matan-aw ang relevance sa usa ka material by linking it to what they already know. So, much like how young children naturally learn through observation of their surrounding. For example, relating a math lesson to budgeting daily expenses makes abstract ideas concrete. So, number 2 is experiencing. Learners actively engage with the materials through hands-on activities, experiments, or simulating to explore and this concept firsthand. This stage builds on relating by allowing students to interact directly with the content, fostering curiosity and sensory involvement, such as conducting a simple science experiment to understand chemical reactions. So, ang experiencing kay mo na siya ang actively engage ang learners with the materials through hands-on activity. Example is experiment or simulating to explore and discuss concept firsthand. So kaning stage kay gabuild ni sila og kanang ang student ma-relate ay ang students allowing to relate interaction directly with the content, such as nagconduct sila og simple science experiment to understand chemical reaction. Number 3 is applying. Students use to newly learned knowledge of skills in practical scenarios or problem-solving tasks. This component encourages critical thinking by having learners implement what they've experienced in structured ways, like applying geometric principle to design a real-world object. So, ang applying kay student nga gagamit og kanang bag-o nga iyang makatunan or skill nga practical scenario or kanang problem solving task. Magamit niya ang applying kay tungod kani nga para sa student magamit niya ang kanang ma-apply niya ang knowledge nga dapat sa practical nga scenario. And number 4 is cooperating. This emphasizes collaborative learning where students work together in group to share ideas, discuss and solve problems. It builds social skills and diverse perspectives, such as learning up to analyze a case study, ensuring everyone contribute to collective understanding. So, ang cooperating kay kanang collaborate siya sa learner where kanang ang student nagalihok sila tanan in one group to share ideas and discuss po ni sila og solve problem. Ang cooperating kay gabuilds og social skills and diverse perspectives, such as kanang mag-analyze sila og case study to ensure everyone contribute to collective understanding. Number 5 is transferring. Learners extend their knowledge to new unfamiliar situation beyond the classroom, applying it independently to real life changes. This final stage promotes lifelong learners like using environmental science concept to advocate for community sustainability efforts. So, ang transferring kay ang learners ga-extend sa ilahang knowledge sa bag-o nga unfamiliar situation, mga sulod sa ilahang classroom. Ang transferring kay ga-apply pud ni siya og independently to real life challenges. And is curriculum development, curriculum indigenization, the process of making something more native, transformation of some service idea to suit a local culture through use of indigenous people in administration, employment, etc. So, ang indigenization kay mo na siya ang process of gahimo sila something more native o transformation sa lain-lain nga or some service idea to kanang para masut sa local culture through para magamit sa indigenous people in our administration, employment, etc. So why do we need to indigenize the curriculum and the use of learning materials? Because indigenizing the curriculum and learning materials is essential for addressing historical injustices in education. Systems that have long privileged Euro-Western perspectives while marginalizing indigenous knowledge, history, and worldviews. This process involves integrating indigenous epistemology, pedagogies, and content to create more inclusive, relevant, and culturally responsive education. By doing so, it counters the explosion of indigenous experiences, which were often dismissed as less valuable, and promotes reconciliation by acknowledging colonial legacies and fostering systemic change. So, ang the React strategy kay nakuan diri ang mga history, geography, and socio-cultural.
Good afternoon, everyone. I will be the next reporter. So, before continuing our topic, let me introduce myself first. My name is Rihanna Abril Yukam Pinto. My topic is localization versus indigenization. So, localization means tailoring something to fit a specific local area or market. So, example like adapting a global product like a software application to use local language, currency, and date formats of the Philippine Davao. So, indigenization, it means integrating indigenous knowledge, culture, and values into something. So, example, incorporating traditional weaving patterns from local Davao tribes into the design of a new product or curriculum. With the best of our abilities, let us do what we can for the Filipino learner. By Undersecretary Dina S. Ocampo. The quote attributed to Undersecretary Dina S. Ocampo encourages everyone to maximize their efforts for the benefits of the Filipino learner. In simple terms, It's a call to action to do our best to support and improve education for Filipino students.
Good day to each and every one of you, especially to you, sir. So before we proceed and tackle the discussion, I would like to introduce myself. I am Arian Jane Alhao, and I am the next reporter of our group. So today, we're going to read and discuss about the case study of teacher named Teacher Noemi. And I want you guys to listen carefully and think what she did and what we can learn from her experience. Teacher Noemi is a science teacher of 5 different grade 7 section in a public school in Mountain Province. She is originally from Benguet, so she is now new to the community. Despite being new, she noticed something very important about her student performance. After teaching for a while, she realized that her students' score were quite low. Instead of giving up, Teacher Noemi decided to do something about it. She gave remedial classes and review session, repeating some lessons so her student could understand better. So as a result, Anna, the student score improved. So now, let's proceed to the next slide. As you can see in the picture na ako ang i-attach, I have prepared a few questions for you. Number 1, what did Teacher Noemi notice about her student? Number 2, what did she do to help her student improve? And number 3, what was the result of her efforts? So now, let's move on to the last slide. From this situation, what qualities of a good teacher can we observe in Teacher Noemi? Very good. This shows that an effective teacher does not stop in teaching lesson. She ensures that learning truly happens. And that's the end of my report. Thank you, everyone.